All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. And guys, we are hundreds of dollars away from breaking Ethereum all-time highs and Bitcoin all-time highs. These coins are taking over right now. We're going to break down why these coins are pumping, where the money is flowing. We're going to show you some of the data on the ETF inflows, which is the institutions loading up their bags to give retail and big money the opportunity to get exposure into cryptocurrency. We're going to show you some videos of the Trump family explaining how they were debanked over the past 4 years and why it was a big push for them to get into cryptocurrencies to begin with. It wasn't just because they were eyeing the presidential cabinet, but it was because they were debanked and there was no other choice for them to be bullish on crypto. So hey, that benefits us because we were bullish crypto before all the politicians were. So guys, pat yourself on the back for being super bullish before the big money. But now that the big money's here, they're going to want some gains as well. And we're going to explain how they're moving their money and their capital and how this all correlates with the feds and the interest rates being cut and how they are positioning for the next 3 years of this United States economy, playing ball with the rest of the world. So guys, make sure you're tuning into these live streams because we break everything down from the macro to the micro. We break down the charts, we break down some of the altcoins, and we help you guys go through these cryptocurrency markets cool, calm, and collected, and encourage you guys to have a strategy, have a plan, and all through this, we're going to be teaching you little tips and tricks to help you along the way. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the content so far. Thank you guys for tuning in. Whoever's been here just on a regular basis, we really appreciate you. And we just want to make sure we, show our appreciation and gratitude towards the people that have been supporters of the channel and just having fun, just coming here, keeping me on my toes and chatting and being active in this community. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. But let's see how many people we got across all the platforms. We are streaming to just about every damn platform. We're streaming to X, we're streaming to Rumble, we're streaming to Twitch, we're streaming to YouTube, we're streaming to Facebook, for crying out loud. I mean, we're pushing this thing everywhere. So I hope we're gaining some traction. I hope we're gaining some traction. But we're live, guys. We are live. We are live and we're long and strong too. We might have gone into a FOMO trade. You know, there's the term trying to catch a falling knife. Well, we had some nice bullish uptrend for Ethereum and Bitcoin pre-market and going into the market open at 9:30 today for the US Open. We had Ethereum just pushing the relative strength index on Ethereum was still looking really bullish. We haven't even really hit a oversold portion on the RSI. So it's looking still really strong. The ETFs are signaling the strength because all of this week we have been flowing, and the end of last week we were flowing really hard. We only had 2 sell days in the ETFs for the inflows for Ethereum's ETF. And so it was similar with Bitcoin. We kind of had just like 1 or 2 sell days, outflows, but most of it has been inflows. And what's amazing is that this chart is matching the same inflows of what Bitcoin was doing when Bitcoin started to break into all-time high territories, broke 2, 3 different all-time highs, and just continued on a week-to-week after week tear, amassing an 85% gain to the upside. So what can happen here, and what's happening right now, is the fact that we have the same playbook happening with Ethereum. We're seeing the same inflow. Look, on one day, on the 11th, just the other day, we crossed over $1 billion in a day of inflows. So this is showing the massive confidence and strength in Ethereum with the institutions, the big money. This is why we did not want to fade Ethereum. And while the whole timeline for the whole year was bearish ETH, saying you need to swap it out, you need to sell it. I'm done with ETH. Swap it for Solana. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And here we're gonna make a case that, like, look, you can hold both. You don't sell all your ETH for Solana or sell all your Solana for ETH. You just know that both networks could possibly do well. So anyone who was doing this flip-flopping thing, it's not boding well for those people. And the people that were selling their ETH at 1,500 or 2,000 or 2,300 now have bought back at 4,600. They FOMO'd back in at the quote top, but we have some charts to show you and some data to show you that it's not. I don't think this is the top. This is just obvious resistance that we're going to have from this trend of going from, just kind of popping up, boom, boom, boom. But look, we're going to continue on this trend, and we're going to eventually pop in. This is the 3-minute chart, so you can kind of see what's happening, this oscillating wave. But if you go into the macro here, we're going to go into the daily chart. The daily chart's going to show you the obvious sell order resistance at 4,900, because that was where the previous bull market resistance was for Ethereum, right here. So you can see where that's revealed, but right above it, there is a Fibonacci extension level that gets to 1.618, which is $5,700 per Ethereum. I think this is where the magic is going to happen, my friends, because I think we could hit a little bit of resistance here. We're actually hitting resistance already. We wicked up to this and we hit this resistance. But I think what's happening is that's the resistance that we're hitting. We're going to blast through this order block. And I said this before on Bitcoin, whenever we had an order block very similar in structure with price action on Bitcoin, this thing went parabolic. Bitcoin was sitting at 109 and there was a sell, an order block that was at its all-time high. And then I said, look, if we break through this order block, we're going to go to 115, which was the 1618, very fast. This is the similar setup that I'm seeing right now on this is the similar setup I'm seeing here on Ethereum. Is we break that order block and then boom, we're going to fly to 5,700 like really fast, and it is going to make people FOMO into Ethereum. We might even see retail potentially start thinking, dang, should we start buying some Ethereum now? Because if you remember, back in the previous cycle in 2021, Ethereum was on retail's radar because they started to learn a little bit about Bitcoin. Maybe they were buying Dogecoin first before everything. That was kind of what was crazy, is that Dogecoin was a big catalyst to bring retail in to get into either investing in general, to start downloading the Robinhood app or Webull or it's eToro, whatever was the the retail pick for getting into stocks, stonks, crypto, whatever it was. That Ethereum was something that people bought. As some of my friends that they're kind of a little into crypto, but they bought a little bit. They're still holding some of their ETH that they bought at like 4K back in the previous bull market, because that was that other, if you discovered Doge or Bitcoin, then you discovered Ethereum. So I don't want to take it off the table that retail could actually be buying Ethereum and being bullish ETH, especially when they learn the mechanisms of the DeFi nature of Ethereum and what you can do with ETH. So institutions, this is what they're learning. This is what they're doing. This is why they're buying the ETF, because that thing's going to be able to be staked. And then the Trump family and all of these institutions, hedge funds or whatever, they're creating these ETH treasury reserves. They're creating companies all centered around buying crypto and holding crypto in their treasury. There's crypto-centric companies fully integrating DeFi aspects and then linking it with the stock that you can buy. So it's like, even if you don't even want to get exposure into the underlying assets that they are buying, You get exposure into the stock. So it's going to be this perpetual pumping mechanism that I think liquidity is going to be injected into these markets with this narrative, this whatever the narrative is. But the narrative is macro liquidity has to go somewhere, and it's going on chain. So that's what I think is happening, my friends. And I hope you're here and along for the ride. But you can see that over the past 90 days, we've actually been getting spikes into interest into searching Bitcoin, searching Dogecoin, Pepe, crypto. All of these things are now starting to go up. And if you see that crypto as a search term just is starting to trend up alongside with Bitcoin. So it's not just Bitcoin, but also just people searching just crypto. And hopefully this is new people, new interest, new money coming in. But like we've said before and that we've explained on the live stream, people are broke, so it's until we actually get, stimulus checks and we start seeing some of the money coming back to the people with all the tariff revenue that's coming in. Apparently there's billions of dollars of tariff revenue coming in. But yeah, it would be nice to see that, so can we actually see it, or are we just going to continue to be triple, quadruple, 5 times, 6 times overtaxed on the same money over and over again until we're bled dry? I don't know. I'm hoping we get some damn stimulus, because at the end of the day, you can't trust all these politicians. They have all of their agendas, but at least we can give it to Trump that he's been basically the open Telegram group of saying like, hey, it's a good time to buy. And damn it, if we would have just listened, that was like the biggest Telegram signal that he gave us a couple months ago. But we were still so fearful and shell-shocked as a retail that no one listened. Only very few people listened. And it was like, some people were like, look, it was obvious. The president said it's a good time to buy. And no one listened. But it's just funny. It's funny. It just shows that we are still a little messed up from the 2.5-year bear market that we experienced, where we all got rug pulled. Okay? So it's okay. Like, there's a reason why the interest is so low. There was so much crap that happened over the past 2.5, 3 years in crypto that it's no wonder. Like, the fact that we're here still means we have a mental illness. But we have a mental illness of wanting to be able to figure this game out and stay in here and not get shaken out, whilst other people got duck rolled out of the car and then got pummeled and ran over by the cars behind them, and then they've been on the side of the road ever since. They have not gotten up. So this is where we're at right now. This is all of this money and this action that's happening right now is all driven by institutional adoption, which is what we haven't really had in the past on this type of level. So in theory, the 4-year cycle is still intact, but it is. I think it's like in terms of the fundamentals, but in terms of the sentiment and the story and everything that's happening right now, I think this is how the 4-year cycle finally does get broken. And also, it gets extended a little bit because of the nature of the liquidity. And so there's a lot of things that we could talk about, we could break down, but really that's just those are the main points. That Ethereum is literally a few $100s away from breaking all-time highs. Bitcoin is hundreds of dollars away from breaking all-time highs. And the retail doesn't care and is not even focusing on it. So which leads me to believe that we are still really, really, really early, even though we've been having this price action. Because I think it can grow a lot more. So we could see these Fibonacci extensions for ETH right here. This is my target, is getting into these Fibonacci extension levels and ultimately hitting this giant trend line on the daily, on the weekly with ETH and just start trading into this channel. Because you can see it on a bigger scale here on the weekly. Long bear market. Just been consolidating basically. And if we get any semblance of the 2017 and 2021 run, then we could even just do half of that move. We could even just do like half of that move. I mean, you look at the multiples here, both times was a 3,000% move to the upside from the bottom. So even if we just did half of that normal move, this is how, like, because when someone says 20K ETH, you're like, how is that possible? This is how it's possible. This is how it's possible, because just going from the bottom, if we're going to go by cycles, like how they've reacted in the past, then going up 982% from the bottom here at like, 1,500, that brings us right up into the trend line, which is $16,000 per ETH. Woo! I mean, I can imagine what the altcoins are going to look like that have been performing well with this choppiness on ETH and have been breaking all-time highs. Like, for instance, like we use Floki as an example of just like during those nice little pops on Ethereum, we saw price action like this. So I could just imagine what could happen when we start getting, a breakout on ETH going to 10K. It's not going to happen immediately. That's the thing. It's like we will have a network effect where it's like when stuff starts moving, like we just get speculation. So then coins will be moving under them, like it'll start going. But we're not going to start to see the true rotation until ETH like cools off. Because if ETH is going to be cranking up to pushing over 6K, 7K, it's going to cool off a little bit. And we'll start to see money rotate out of ETH, and then we'll start to see the native coins on ETH like the meme coins. But then also we've mentioned the DeFi tokens, the DeFi legacy protocols like Compound and Aave and some of the DEX tokens like Uniswap, and like those coins, you'd be surprised like how well those will move when Ethereum is doing well. It's just like, it kind of just goes back to basics of like, okay, it's just a network effect. Like we see it happen with Sol too. Like when Solana starts to pump, there's coins that are connected inside of the Solana ecosystem that pump really well. And a lot of the times it's the DEX tokens. It's things like Orca, Radium. Now we have Jupiter. It's, those are the ones that I kind of focus on. I mean, there's a lot more, but those are the ones I like to focus on. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when we start getting ETH like cooking, because we're in ETH season. It's not altcoin season, it's ETH season, because the nature of the dominance in the Bitcoin ratio, we explained this, the BTC ratio here is eyeing these Fibonacci levels right here. And when we were in these levels right here in the beginning of the first quarter of 2024 last year was when we were up into this ratio for ETH and BTC. You compare this chart to the dominance chart of Ethereum, it looks exactly the same. So that means if we're getting a rally on ETH dominance and ETH BTC, and we're getting dominance on Bitcoin going exactly into the level that we were predicting, and we said that could happen even when Bitcoin is getting close to breaking all-time highs again, said we could still get Bitcoin going up as the dominance is going down and Ethereum dominance flipping. Which means that liquidity is just flowing into both assets. Like it's just still strong Bitcoin and still strong ETH. But then eventually when we get into October, that's I think when we'll start to see, that's when we're going to see where that money started to, where it's going to start to flow out. Like which meme coins are going to pump the hardest, which protocols are going to pump the hardest, the layer 2s, the other layer 1s. Like, is it going to be XRP or Solana that pumps the hardest? I mean, we don't know. There's a lot of bullish catalysts for all these under Bitcoin and ETH. If you look at them by market cap, you look at them by market cap. We got a lot of different competition. We got Tron. There's a lot of focus on Tron because of Justin Sun and the investments that he's made in the United States and acquisitioning other companies that have a stock on the stock market that are set up with the Tron DAO or the Tron Foundation. And this is, could be super bullish Tron. There's Cardano. Charles Hoskinson's doing a lot of stuff with the chain. Bitcoin DeFi on Cardano, so that could be a good long-term hold and how Cardano could get a potential network effect. Chainlink is set up a treasury, so now there's a Chainlink treasury which can boost all of the fundamentals and tokenomics of Chainlink. Sui has a bunch of stuff going for it. It's in the crypto gaming sector. Stable coins, trying to be a direct competitor with Solana. Same thing with Say, and I mean, God, there's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. But really, you kind of just have to narrow it down. You got to narrow it down, and this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to break down the portfolio that we've narrowed it down for ourselves, and then you can go a route of narrowing it down in a completely different way, but at least with the kind of the same fundamentals. But first, since we already went through the ETH BTC all-time high explanation, we went through the Bitcoin altcoin analysis. Now we're going to go through the news. Okay. This is hilarious. So this just shows that most of the people that are traditional financial commentators have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to crypto. They have no idea. And this is why I think that content that I'm doing right now is going to be so valuable, because we've been in the trench, we've been in the ecosystems for years now. We look at it every single day, and I think we are going to be the dominant force in people learning about crypto and actually getting on chain, and not by these jokers that are on mainstream media that can't even tell the difference between Justin Sun and CZ, and they're talking about CZ. And they freaking put a picture of Justin Sun on the screen. I'm like, guys, geez, you can't make this stuff up.
And fixing the broken education system.
Look,
a guy that's built an equation. We're not
fun.
Where we're being distributed, and we make much better partners because we don't support anybody's competitor.
Final question, maybe a little hard, but kind of fun. Should CZ get a pardon? What do you think?
We're not in the pardon business. We've said it several times. We are not a political organization. We are a business. He's obviously a guy that's built an incredible business. I'll also add that he's quite charitable. He spends his life now on education and fixing the broken education system. Someone we have a lot of respect for in the way he's built his business and the way he leads his life. But that's where it ends, Andrew.
I mean, it's just, gosh, come on, guys. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go through some, we're going to go through some news clips. We also have some videos that we wanted to show, but I just thought that was hilarious. I also think it's hilarious that I only have one like, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna be over here begging for likes, my friends. You either like the video or you don't. You either like the live stream or you don't. All right, so Powell could be replaced by someone from the private sector, Besson says. So big topic of discussion. Also, as well as just what the Feds and how much the Feds are going to cut for this September rate cut, there's a 90% chance that we're going to get 97% chance we're going to get a 25 basis point cut, but potentially we've had talks that we could get a 50 points basis cut for September, which would really, if we start to get closer into to September, starts to predicting that that's going to happen, the market's going to start to react that we are going to get that cut, which means the market will start to pre-rally, and we're going to start pricing stuff like that in. And not like pricing it in, but at least just we're going to try to front run the fact that they're going to do a 50 points basis cut in this meeting. And then we have 2 other meetings where they could be potentially cutting not just 20, because we thought they were going to do 25, 25, and then 25 and do it slowly. But the fact that the Trump administration is pushing hard for quicker cuts, bigger cuts, we could get 50, 50, 50. And we get the rate down into 3.5%, which would be a whole percent or whole point, a 1.25% cut going into Q1 for next year. Now, I have this theory that we're really actually going to see the biggest moves in volatility in Q1 and Q2 of next year, because we're getting all the necessary things set up for this year to really start to cook into next year. Because I don't see why we would have so much inflow into this market and into the ETFs, into all of these companies setting themselves up to start being on chain, and then we just go into a 2.5 year bear market again, and everyone gets rug pulled and we all lose money. I don't know why people would think that, and just to play the devil's advocate and play the other side, is that, okay, well, that's what just happened in 2020 after 2021 in the previous bull market. We went into a 2.5 year rug pulled bear market where we all got bamboozled. Bankruptcies were happening, major chains were crashing, people lost a lot of money and trust in cryptocurrencies. But I hate to say this, I hate to say it, but something does feel different this time. It does feel different. And I know it's so lame to hear that term. It's different. It's different this time. But I just don't see any other way for the fiat system to continue to go where it's going and them not go into crypto, because it's just like they've used the stock market for years and years to be able to hedge against the fact that, like, you can't just be in the dollar. You don't just hold dollars. And the treasuries and the bonds and all that stuff has not been able to be a solid foundation for even millionaires to be able to preserve their wealth. Then they try to preserve their wealth in the real estate. They realize that's not very lucrative because there's a lot of counterparty risk. So then what other asset class eliminates the counterparty risk but adds more upside risk potential based on the same amount of risk to reward risk ratio, but way more of a reward with less risk, especially when it comes to real estate. When it comes to just investing in stocks or crypto, I say it's like the same risk. Everything could go to zero. So it doesn't matter if you put in $10,000, what's the risk? You lose your $10,000. There you go. With anything that's with investing. When it comes to real estate, it's like, okay, you put in $10,000 or you put in a mortgage or whatever it is, you have to pay. You're paying on things constantly, year over year over year. You're having to service your investment. So the difference between flipping that and saying, okay, if I'm gonna put this same amount of risk in, but the reward and me having to not have to service this, if it's Bitcoin, the only thing you need to do to service it is make sure you just don't lose your private keys and you have access to your Bitcoin. That's the risk, is just, okay, I have these keys and I just need to not lose them. I don't know if that makes sense. But I think a lot of the people that are high wealth individuals are starting to assess their risk to reward and their macro outlook on their money to preserve their wealth. And it just seems like crypto is the obvious play. It was gold for the longest time. Gold, we've showed you the gold chart. Real quick, we'll show you the gold chart. Weekly gold chart looks exactly like the cryptocurrency total market cap chart breaking out of a cup and handle. There's the chart. Here is the total cryptocurrency market cap chart. It's literally the same chart. And it's due for the similar breakout that gold just had. And this is how we can get a $10 trillion, a 10 trillion Bitcoin, a 5 trillion ETH, a 3 to $4 trillion ETH, 7 trillion everything else under of the major caps, blue chips, 4 trillion everything else, memes being 1 trillion in its own. Because if you even went to the meme section right now in CoinMarketCap and you look at the total market cap of memes right now, and the all-time high of memes was at 127 billion. And this is with the valuations of where we've seen memes in just 2024 at the peak of the Trump pump. And if you see this as an overarching trend, if you look at this as a trend here, and we just draw a trend line through here, that's how you get, look right here, on the all-time of the meme coin charts of the total market cap. That's how we're going to get to $1 trillion in just memes. I know it sounds crazy, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. All right, let's get to the news. Let's play these videos.
Remake the Federal Reserve. The president gets the opportunity to remodel, reshape the Federal Reserve. And I'm not talking about the remodeling that maybe the current chairman's going through. We'll talk about that another time. I want to talk about the complexion and character of the committee. The changes that you're making at the moment. Stephen Myron, let's start with Stephen. How quickly can you get Myron confirmed?
We'll see. The president has great sway with Leader Thune. Leader Thune's been a great partner during the tax deal, and I think that he would like to see Stephen, who I've known for a long time, get on there as soon as possible. So I'm hopeful about the September meeting. And Jonathan, the president's concerned about the building and those massive cost overrun, which just tell you that there is no accountability at that organization. There's no oversight in terms of the spending. But the president and I are both concerned about the foundations of the Fed. The foundations of the Fed, and how did this happen, and why did it happen, and how did the leadership let it happen?
When it comes to Director Myron, do you expect him to stay on past the January term that expires from Kugler's seat?
I wouldn't expect that.
So who are some names you're thinking of the Kugler seat? Because everyone has been focused on who is going to fill the chairmanship role. Who are you thinking to fill that extra seat?
Well, Anne-Marie, we're working on the big list right now. I think there are going to be a couple more names revealed today. They're going to be private sector names. So we had a series or a list of current Fed members. We're going to have some private.
So what it sounds like is they are going to be just auditing the Fed. And if you think about it, back before Obama did his 2 terms, I can't remember the exact year, but it was when Ron Paul was one of the I think he was one of the Democrats that was on the he was running for president at the time. And one of his running issues that he was campaigning on was that the Federal Reserve needed to be audited, and that the Federal Reserve needed to not have as much power over our money and how it was set up. And I remember he was the only one that was talking about it while everyone else was talking about all these different issues. And then lo and behold, we had the biggest financial crash with the 2008 crash. And then it's really interesting how since then, the Fed's just been out of control and have been printing money, and then the national debt's been going up and all that stuff, and it just seems like if there could have been a way that the Fed could operate where it's like, look, we have this fiat printed money, we're in this system, the only way they can get out of it is implode it, and continue to just raise and just continue to print money until things are absolutely worthless. And then at the same time, out of all of this, Bitcoin was created in 2009. So it's almost like, while all of this stuff was playing out on the world stage and we're hearing about it, there was a couple different like loud voices that if we were keen enough to listen, that something was happening also in the background, that thank God that there was something being created as a solution to the inevitable demise of the fiat Federal Reserve banking system, which I think we're seeing in real time right now, it being unraveled. And you can see it on Jerome Powell's face, especially whenever Trump went to that, what Scott Bessent is talking about, that the build where the Federal Reserve building is getting a $3.1 billion renovation, and they're coming in and they're showing the American people like the arrogance of Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve to not only be so tightened on the way that our monetary policy is being operated over the past 4 years, and how much money was sent out to other countries, and our country was left to hang left high and dry. And we're asking the questions, and people are wondering like, oh, why is everyone so poor, and why is everyone playing catch up, and why is everyone buying everything on credit cards and maxing out credit cards at the highest amount it's ever been? And the Fed will come on TV and go to these meetings and say the economy's doing great. I'm like, wow, you guys are so out of touch with reality, and the numbers are always BS. If the numbers were really shown for real, the Fed would have more than enough reasons to have the rates be at damn 1.5% than being at literally 5.5% for freaking 3.5 years. So there's something happening with the Fed right now, and it's being unraveled. I'm very curious to see what's happening, but I think we see the writing on the wall. It's all the printed fiat money is being put on chain because there's nowhere else for it to go. There's nowhere else for it to go. Let's continue. So speaking on the chair, there's considering 11 candidates for Fed chair.
Policeman who's at the table. He's got a bit of news on the list of possible Fed picks. What do you got for us?
Good morning, Andrew. CNBC has learned the Trump administration currently considering now 11 individuals, including 3 names that have previously not been disclosed, to replace Fed Chair Jay Powell when his term expires in May. According to 2 administration officials, the 3 new names include Jefferies chief market strategist David Zervos, former Fed.
Also, I've been saying my theory is that he's not going to resign. Jerome Powell's not going to resign. He's too prideful for that. I think he's going to finish out his term completely, and he's going to see that he would be the one that actually made the cuts. And I think that's how it's going to go, because that guy just seems so just arrogant. Jerome Powell. I don't know why, but it's just like when he talks, I don't like the guy. He's very out of touch with reality, I think.
Governor Larry Lindsey and Rick Reeder, who is chief investment officer for fixed income at BlackRock. I thought we had a graphic on that. But anyway, they now join a list of 8 other candidates that CNBC has confirmed are under consideration, including Fed Vice Chair for Supervision Mickey Bowman, Fed Governor Chris Waller, and Fed Vice Chair Philip Jefferson. Add to that,
Who would you want to see as the chairman out of all of these people? Just by looking at the pictures, who would you guys want to have as the Fed chair? How many people are watching right now? Do I have enough people watching to even answer that question? Holy moly. Either this is a glitch, or you guys are just you're playing some games right now. You guys are playing games, but it's okay. Holy moly! Sometimes I don't know. People just don't hit the like button, and I don't want to be over here begging for it. But it is, and like I said, it is what it is. You know, we're just in these points right now in the market where it doesn't make any sense that the price and the action and all the things that are happening, the catalysts, and there's not like thousands and thousands of people watching, crypto content and coming in and seeing what's up, or I'm being shadow banned. It's either one of the two. I don't know. But it blows my mind. But if you guys don't mind helping me battle the battle the shadow banning. Definitely being shadow banned for sure. Yeah, because I have 20 people watching total right now, and that is it's okay, but definitely doesn't. There's no way people are being notified that I'm going live. There's no way, because I didn't get notified on my second phone from my where I'm viewing the stream. All right. Yeah, I think I would go with. There's two Kevins that have been mentioned. There's Kevin Warsh and Kevin Waller. So those are the 2 Kevins. We got Bowman, Ballard, Hassett, Jefferson, Zervos, Ryder, Lindsay. So these are the 3 that I guess we're now disclosed. Logan. So primarily more men, but we have two women candidates, Bowman and Logan. Like sharp ladies. I like that Hassett and Lindsay. They got the American flag in the background. Waller looks like he's like, okay, I'm all business, you know, executive type. He's got the tables with the chairs in the background. He probably likes to sit at the helm, you know. He's like, he probably sits. He doesn't sit on the side. He probably sits at the end. Warsh looks like he's determined, you know. He looks a little younger than the rest of the crowd. Maybe a little more full of life. I don't know, guys. What do you think?
At NEC Director Kevin Hassett and former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, mentioned by the president.
Oh my gosh! Thank the Lord. Someone chatted in the chat. I'm like, are people like alive? I'm like, wake the hell up, guys. What is going on? Let's go. We got Chimbo Slice in the house. We got a Sproto in the house.
Walkbox. The officials described, quote, a deliberative process now taking place where Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will interview each of these candidates, winnow down a list, and then pass it along to the president for a final decision. The size of the list in the process described suggests a decision not imminent. That could take a considerable amount of time, but the officials would not offer a timetable. The longer the process takes, though, the less likely there is to be a so-called shadow Fed chair in place approved by the Senate before Powell departs. Though sharply critical on an almost daily basis of Powell, President Trump has recently backed off suggestions he might replace the Fed chair before the end of his term. While many candidates on this list have advocated reform at the Fed.
So you keep pausing it and playing it. And good day, everyone. Tony Trump said he's late. It's okay. It is okay, my friends. I know you guys are probably busy. I forget that, you know, you can't just be watching crypto content, you know, at you know, just all day. But we are going to ask you guys, and we're going to hopefully do like a vote and see, because my good friend of mine, Crypto Hyro, he watches the channel a lot, also does great TA. He was saying, like, you know, you might want to change up the time that you live stream, because there's like 4, 5, 6, 7 other accounts that are, you know, they're big accounts and they have the similar watcher base and stuff like that. It's like Discover Crypto, the Moon Show, and there's like 3 other ones that come on at 11 a.m. at the same time. And I just feel like YouTube is just like, they're just like, nope. And they're not putting my show out there. They're just not doing it. And they're not notifying you that I'm going live. So then I have both of these things working against me. I have big accounts streaming at the same time as me. I have YouTube shadow banning me. And then they're not showing you that I'm going live. So something has to be done. Something has to change. So it's either I start streaming at a completely different time so then I can actually catch people. I might start streaming at damn 7 a.m. because I'm tired of trying to compete with all of this algorithm bull BS. And it's just, it seems to not be working. And I am not going to give up. I'm going to keep, I might just start streaming for damn 24 hours a day. Start streaming for fucking 24 hours a day. And then let's see what happens. See how the algorithm likes that. I mean, what the hell else should I be doing? Let's go.
Once again, after that CPI report, that in honesty, it was kind of mixed. You know, headline was better than expected. Core was just slightly hotter than expected. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's just a reflection of the fact that the market was bracing for a hot CPI, knowing that not only was the Fed, but economists were warning that we'd start to see inflation coming through in the July CPI report. So I think it was actually elevated compared to where it was in June. But
A lot of optimism over a rate cut coming up.
Frank, I think part of it is positioning and sentiment, because I think investors were thinking this is the dog days of August and that we'd be getting some hawkish inflation data. So I think some of that's just the relief that, in fact, CPI was better than expected. I think it's also just follow through because we've had a pretty decent earnings season, and at the end of the day, the economy is holding up pretty well. And, I'd say that it has a lot to do with the fact that August will probably be a surprise and markets are going to be stronger.
All right. Tom, you didn't send us a pick, but I'm going to guess that BitMiner might be your pick today. It's a company that you're involved with. I want to talk to you about Ethereum and also BitMiner.
Yes. Well, Ethereum, has probably become the surprising sort of hit for cryptocurrencies this year because it's up 28%, outperforming Bitcoin. But, in some of the work we've done, we believe it's the biggest macro trade over the next 10 to 15 years. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that stable coins have really become the...
So you said 10 to 15 years. So that's what I've been trying to explain to you guys is that, like, you really have to think about this thing, like, way more long-term. Way more long-term. Because you got to think, like, even if you're buying ETH at 4,600, it's, like, at its Bitcoin moment of network effect and trust and reliability, all that stuff. And it's showing that even though it's slower, the gas fees might be more expensive, that doesn't matter in this case. You're thinking about the wrong things when it comes to how institutions are thinking about what this blockchain is doing. This is the blockchain still that you can, in a decentralized manner, trust more, and you can mint billions and billions of dollars and now even trillions of dollars of stable coins on this network. And so this is why you got to think about Ethereum as a 10-year down the like being like 30K in the next 5 to 10 years. So it is a major macro investment, and that's how you have to think about, I think, crypto in general. It's going to be a big macro push, and we are still massively early.
ChatGPT moment for crypto, and now we have the Genius Act and Project Crypto from the SEC, which is Wall Street essentially running onto the blockchain. But one of the best ways we believe to sort of have exposure is through Ethereum treasuries, and that's a company like BitMine, which I've become chairman recently.
So when we're talking about Ethereum, it's one cryptocurrency, stablecoins.
Someone said on the timeline recently, they were like, Tom Lee is the Morad of TradFi guys. That made me laugh. I was like, that's funny.
They're obviously in the news, especially with the Circle IPO and Circle just reporting its earnings and offering more shares. And then you mentioned this Bitcoin as well. Why are you so bullish on Ethereum? What are the opportunities you're seeing in Ethereum in particular?
Well, Ethereum is the second largest blockchain, and it's different than Bitcoin because with Bitcoin, you can't really do programmable contracts, so smart contracts. Wall Street needs to find a stable and legally compliant blockchain to work on. The majority of stablecoin creations are taking place on Ethereum. And when you look at where JP Morgan is building a lot of its layer 2s or Coinbase or Robinhood, they're choosing to do it on Ethereum. So it is the place where Wall Street is essentially financializing the system.
And people always say, well, okay, so if Ethereum's a choice, then why are there layer 2s, and why wouldn't they just use them? Well, they are using the layer 2s, but the thing about the layer 2s is that Ethereum encourages the creation of layer 2s because all it does is bolster and increase the ecosystem of Ethereum because they're using it as whatever's a ZK whatever roll up or something, or however the heck they're gonna use ETH. It still benefits ETH, So there's still a case to where it's like, cool, the reason why someone would want to use a layer 2 and in chain with the EVM is that they have their own rules or governance or whatever they want to do, or validating or whatever they want to do. And so it gives them, I guess, a way that they could have more of a decentralized nature to it in certain levels. I don't know.
All right, so by the way, you're not the only bullish person or bullish company when it comes to Ethereum. We're just looking right now. Standard Charter raising its year-end target for Ethereum to 7,500 from 4,000. Right now, Ethereum's trading right around, I believe, 4,700. Are you this bullish, 7,500 by year-end?
You know, I think that's within the, within the realm of expectations. You know, Ethereum, I think first needs to clear its prior highs of around 4,800. It's within 6% of that now. Believe it or not, Bitcoin's obviously been making many new all-time highs this year, but Ethereum is still below its 2022 highs, 2021, 2022. So I think once it clears that level, I think Ethereum and small caps tend to be correlated. So to me, 7,500 actually might even be on the low end of what's possible.
Really?
I think I've seen many targets of 10 to 15,000.
All right, one more time before we get out of here. You're known for your granny shots. Can you give us one of your granny shots right now with the fact that we have the markets trading at all-time highs, the S&P and the NASDAQ, again, closing at record highs yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I think really one of the granniest of our granny shots is NVIDIA. It's still one of the most important companies. Well, it's probably the most important company in the world. And in terms of forward multiple at 30 times, it's actually still reasonably priced. I believe its PE multiple is still ranks number 38. There are 37 stocks in the S&P 500 with a higher PE than NVIDIA.
Okay, Tom Lee. So NVIDIA, so he's saying that we really need to pay attention to NVIDIA. You know, we do have that as one of our stocks on the list. You know, we keep it simple. You know, we don't have too many, but we got Circle here. We got the U.S. Treasury yield 10-year. We got the Dixie. We're looking at GME. We're looking at Tesla in this little channel. We're checking the Russell because we were looking at the Russell compared to how the presidential elections were matching up with the Russell and also the SPY and the S&P 500. S&P 500 definitely. His target for the S&P is 7,000 by October. I think that's definitely doable. That means the S&P by October would be pushing up 8%. 8%. It's definitely doable because from the bottom of this quote doom crash of April, the S&P just rallied 31%. So I think us pushing up to 7,000, pushing into October, doing another 10% in the stock market, I think that's definitely doable. And then you got, the devil's company, the Palantir, Peter Thiel. You know, I've been learning a lot about what the heck they're doing, and it's a little creepy. And the philosophy and the ethics behind these companies are nowhere to be found. So I would just watch out. And yeah, maybe you can make some money on it, but do you really want to be making the devil's money? I don't know. But let's see. We got NVIDIA here. NVIDIA at 180. If you're looking at it on the daily and you're just like pulling some trends from the recent highs here and then where we've hit that resistance, you can kind of see a through line trend. It's looks like it is hit a point. Well, let's go to the weekly here because this thing was just dominating from the bottom of 2022 in the bear market. Was $10 in the bear market and has went up 1,700% since that bottom of the bear market in 2022. Really crazy. And so, and that correlates honestly too with the bottoming of Bitcoin, I think, because that was where Bitcoin, I think, was at $16,000. So pretty fascinating. And if you see here, we're kind of like in a little bit of this channel. If we see, we could get, we could see some pullback here since it has been cooking. It's just been cooking up. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it that we could get, just a little bit of a pullback here. And then as long as it doesn't go below the EMA ribbon here, we could, and not touch back in, because if it's going to trade as like as a channel, then we'll get something kind of like, something like this. But could it act that volatile being a stock? That means we would see maybe a 14% pullback. But who knows? It could hold steady. But it has rallied pretty hard from hitting this bottom, hitting this support here, which matched up with previous support pretty close to where it was in April 2024. Then in March 2025, had a nice bounce. So yeah, NVIDIA, for the long term, definitely more of a long play. And then we got MSTR. You know, MSTR is a tricky one because it's like, do you want to be, you know, do you want to just buy Bitcoin or do you want to buy MSTR? Like, because basically if you're buying MSTR, you're just buying exposure into Bitcoin. And would you rather just buy Bitcoin? And then Coinbase's stock. This looks like it is in a cup and handle pattern. So we've actually been charting this. We got the 1618 as the coin, I think, could actually hit 595 or get to $600 or 634. That's the Fibonacci extension that it's gonna. That if we do the depth of the cup here, the depth of the cup from the bottom is actually giving us that price target. So really, I think in terms of upside multiples, like here in the short term, coin could do really well. It could do 91%. You know, give you a 2x on that. And then Robinhood, you know, we got all the bullish things on Robinhood. This also kind of looks like a cup and handle breakout that already happened. But then if you just kind of go a little bit up more and you say, okay, well, that's actually the depth of the cup, and it starts here, and it's a little bit more overextended because it's on more of a weekly chart. You can look at it like this. Here's the cup. Here's the handle. Here's that handle right there. And then the depth of this cup is what we could get as the breakout for Robinhood. And we're already there. We already completed it, but we'd have a little bit more room to grow. So I think ultimately pulling this up to about, let's say, price target 174 here. If we're gonna make a prediction, I think 174, we get a push up 50% going into October, going into the quarter 4. So that's looking good. Galaxy Digital, that's another one to look at, because this one, Galaxy Digital, this actually, in terms of where we were in 2008, 2007, and the exposure they're getting in crypto, just pushing up to previous resistance in 2008, 2009. This is pretty fascinating. And then also the bull market of 2021, we were pushing up to the same resistance of bull market territory in 2021. We go up to that order block, we got 125. But yeah, Galaxy Digital is actually looking pretty good. So yeah, we're following some of these on the stocks. All right, real quick. These are the 5 things to know as of today, according to Squawk Box.
Ahead of today's opening bell, the White House saying the Commerce Department still working out the legal details of President Trump's plan to charge 15% export taxes on NVIDIA and AMD for sending certain semiconductors to China. The White House press secretary saying that similar arrangements could be applied to other companies in the future. The Financial Times reports that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman getting ready to back a company that will compete with Elon Musk's Neuralink. The FT says the company is called Merge Labs and is raising money at $850 million valuations. I should say a valuation. And the FT.
And recently, yesterday, Sam Altman and Elon Musk were going back and forth and were fighting on X, going back and forth and messaging each other, basically saying like, well, who's the more ethical person? Who's the liar? Who's not? Who's using their platforms to benefit each other, like conflict of interest and all this stuff. And now they're both just going to be basically they're competing with each other with their AI companies on every aspect. And instead of actually fixing real problems in the world with the amount of wealth that they have and power and influence, they're going to end up probably destroying things. And someone's going to make a mistake and go too far. It could be Elon. It could be Sam. Someone will go too far, and we are going to freaking have damn Skynet happening. And all of the movies that have been predicting this are going to end up becoming true because these two idiots can't just be like, okay, let's like settle our differences and combine forces together so we could save the world. But this is why I think there is truly a battle of good and evil, because this is how this plays out. Because, man, wouldn't it be nice if these people that have all this money could just like rally together and be like, you know what? Let's actually make a difference. Let's see if we can combine forces and use AI to heal the world and, you know, solve world hunger and homelessness and addiction. But no, let's just call each other liars and not agree and not agree.
FDA considering revoking its authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for healthy children under the age of 5. Vaccines from Moderna and Novavax are cleared for more limited populations. And shares of Circle closing higher by 1.3% yesterday. That after the company reported a 53% increase in revenue. But after the closing bell, the company announced a new stock offering of 10 million shares. The stock now under pressure as a result this morning. 2 million of those shares will be offered by Circle.
Difference between stocks and certain cryptos like Bitcoin. You can't issue more Bitcoin in the supply unless it's mined. But then there's a limited supply of what can be mined, and then that's it. But with these damn shares and these companies on the stock market, it's just they can issue these shares, they do stock splits, they do all this stuff, and it's just like, oh my God. And then when you think about meme coins, these meme coins like Ticker Bitcoin or God, what are the memes that have like just open chart and the supply is just out there? Pepe and Ticker Bitcoin are two coins that have an open chart. The supply is just out. I'm pretty sure also Wojak is the same. Yeah, supply is out, it's burned, it's fully circulated. And it's funny because people say that, oh, meme coins are so risky, and it's really risky, but it's like, how much more risky is it to be in memes than it is to be in the freaking stock market? It's actually more risky to be in stocks. I'm like, I'd much rather be in an open chart where the supply isn't, it's just like, it is what it is. That's why certain charts look the way they do. For instance, or this one. You type in Pepe. You look at the max supply, it's 420 trillion Pepe. The total supply is 400 trillion Pepe. The circulating supply is 400 trillion Pepe. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You go to Ticker Bitcoin. You type in Bitcoin. You know what's great is that when you type, I love this because this is good for the coin. This is good for working for your bags. Thank you, CoinMarketCap, because when you type in Bitcoin, guess what is right under the Bitcoin? Ticker Bitcoin. And you don't think this narrative is going to play out well. And this is the thing, we have a few narratives that we just love that we're a part of. Like, we're a part of the PDI narrative, and we're part of the Pulse Chain, Ticker Bitcoin, ETH, all the most hated rallies that are going to ever happen in crypto history. We are a part of. Look, circulating supply, 999 million Bitcoin. Total supply, 999 million Bitcoin. The contracts were announced. They can't make any more. They've only just, you can obviously, that you can get Bitcoin on other chains. Like you can get it on Bera, Base, and Solana. You can even get it on Solana, but the liquidity is different. That's this thing is like, I want to, yes, you can get on different contracts, but the liquidity is different. Like this is where, just like how when I look at the Wojak chart, I look at this, what this is the ETH Wojak chart. There's something to be said about these the meme coins that are ETH backed by ETH liquidity. And it's the same with Sol tokens too. Some of these Sol tokens, when that Sol starts pumping, and then you get like Fartcoin, for instance, Fartcoin, when Sol gets bullish, Fartcoin just starts to just pump. I mean, look at the liquidity, $23 million of liquidity locked. So when this thing starts to go, I mean, it just kind of starts to go. It's just kind of the nature of like how these chains, when you start to look at all the underlying assets, what can happen. All right, so we've been going for about an hour now. I think we're gonna go ahead and end it. We got a little off track. Unless you guys want me to, the only way I'm gonna keep streaming is if you guys want me to continue to stream for another 5 minutes so we can break down the portfolio. But we got we got James in the chat. We got more light in the chat. We have the leader. We have the leader of the egregore here, my friends. What's going on? How did your call go? Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Wiley. That was I knew I was missing something. I was like, there's some news that I'm missing. And it was XYO getting listed on Kraken. Yes, thank you. Because we are bullish XYO. That is one of the coins that we found in 2021. It's like one of those, everyone has their coin that they found in the... Everyone has their coin that they found back in the, whenever they first got into crypto. And this is one of them, XYO. I think this is going to be a nice big push. The last time that we had this bullish movement on ETH, XYO pulled like 1,000% move to the upside. And also Kraken listed ticker Bitcoin as well. So Kraken's bullish on a lot of the same coins that I'm bullish on. So shout out to Kraken. But yeah, XYO, we are excited to announce that XYO is now listed on Kraken, one of the world's largest, most trusted, and most established cryptocurrency exchanges. So spot and perp trading for XYO on Kraken begins today. Dang, I didn't know they were doing perps too, because that's the thing. XYO has no perps on any exchanges. And I was kind of like, don't do perps, because sometimes the perps can be a little dicey, because whenever it can exchange, they'll list it perps and you'll see a nice pump and then there's like a major dump and they short the crap out of it. And it's it can be a little tricky. But yeah, that's awesome. Let's check the chart. Let's check the XYO chart. Let's see how it's doing. Oh, it's up 7%. Let's go. And here's the deal with XYO. This thing likes to pump out of bull flags. Like this thing will consolidate, do like a nice descending channel, boom, breakout, consolidate a little bit again, boom, do another breakout. And we've seen it just gaining strength. And if you go off of this trend here from the top, then the next Fibonacci level that we could be hitting is that 618, which is hitting up into that 5 cent level. So this is looking really good. And it looks like we've just had like a Wyckoff accumulation happen on the weekly here. And we've told you guys that on the weekly of your altcoins, if they look like this and they have this nice little accumulation happening, then this is a good sign. This means you still have a chance. And they're accumulating just like you should be, so we can get the max potential gains to the upside. But yeah, all right. So let's get it. Let's actually do some TA on ticker Bitcoin since we got the Sprotos in the house. Let's hit the chart. So we have this chart here. This is the chart that we like to chart. Is the Uniswap wrapped ETH pair. I about lost my freaking mind today. I was watching Jason Casper's stream. He gave me a shout out. I was like, cool. And I said, chart Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. And the bro pulls up a coin called Harry Potter. I'm like, no. I was like, stop. So you're charting the wrong coin. You're charting the wrong coin. You got to chart the right one. And I was losing my mind. And I was like, just the wrong coin. So Jason, my man, chart the right coin, please. It's Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. The ticker's Bitcoin, okay? So the ticker's freaking Bitcoin, all right? It's Bitcoin wrapped ETH. That's what you need to... It's the freaking Uniswap 3. This one. For the love of all lords. Because this is the one you got to chart. Because then you can actually really see the channel here of accumulation. You can see how this chart is like one of the most bullish charts in all of memes. Yes, it does. This, if you're watching on screen in the chat, I can see all comments. All comments come up on the screen. Doesn't matter where you're chatting from. It can be Twitch, it can be X, it can be wherever. So yeah, if you're on X and you're watching, the people on YouTube that are watching will see you. We're gonna put your comments right here, right in the center. Okay, so and then there's BNKR. Yeah, we'll check that too. But first, we're going to chart this, okay? So, like I said, on the weekly is where you're going to want to see your coins and how they've been doing. The weekly is how you're going to see accumulation. So, even ticker Bitcoin has been in a whale accumulation phase. If you see this, it's just been steady accumulation, and every time we've had euphoric rises with ETH and the sentiment, we've had whales that were smart money, take profits, and then just reaccumulate back at the bottom. So what's interesting is you can just see a clear pattern here of an oscillating wave. And here's the Wyckoff. You have the resistance here, you have the rundown. You have the low, and then you have a higher low, and it creates this W. It pumps back up into the resistance level. It goes sideways, and then it basically establishes going back to test all-time highs. Okay? So we're basically sitting in support and in above support from where we broke into all-time highs last time. If you pull a fib from the high to the low, that's how you get a 60-cent Bitcoin sitting at the 1618. You get a 60-cent Bitcoin at a $600 million market cap, getting close to that goal of the $1 billion, but we're going way past it because you got to remember the 10 is for $10, my friends. Dollar's bearish. It's just like Doge. Everyone thinks like, oh, Doge to $1. No, Doge is going to like $5. Doge is going to like $5. $1 bearish. Ticker Bitcoin, if you just look at the Fibonacci extensions, we're destined for greatness here. The chart doesn't lie. And so I think at least if you want to have some hope in the short term, we get a 60-cent fib extension on Bitcoin. This is what we're going to be looking at. So 60 cents from where we're sitting at right now is a 467% move to the upside. But I love this chart. It's a great chart. But we look at $10. $10 is it's up here. Okay, so here's $10. $10. 10 clams. 10 rings. But there's going to be a lot of people that do plan to sell at $1. There's going to be people that sell at 60 cents for sure. But $10 does sound pretty cheap for a whole Bitcoin. Yeah, I like that thinking. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't think people can wrap their heads around the fact that the ticker is Bitcoin. And it's funny to say that because you say Harry Potter, like every time I've explained this, I'm going to say, no, guys, it's Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, but and then you always have to follow that with, but the ticker is Bitcoin, because then that's the whole mind-blowing thing that happens. Their head spins around 5 times. They do a backflip, eat a chicken nugget, and then they start to learn about the nature of Bitcoin. But look, you type in coin, look, and we're going to actually fix this too. We're going to make sure on because there was another app, MoonPay. When you type in on MoonPay Bitcoin comes up, Bitcoin Cash, but then the people's Bitcoin ticker Bitcoin doesn't pop up. So we're working for our bags, my friends, and we're going to make sure that the ticker pops up. But look, when you type in Bitcoin, we got BTC and we have Bitcoin. No other meme or coin has been able to successfully be as funny as Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu with the ticker being Bitcoin. That's why we like it. That's why we have fun with that. Oh. Man, I tell you what though, YouTube has been a straight joke in terms of algorithm. It has just been a straight joke. Dang, did we get swiped? Okay, yeah, we got cooked on that. We got cooked on that Pepe trade. We got freaking cooked on our Pepe trade. We tried to catch a falling knife on Pepe, and we should have seen this, where we had this. There was like some massive support right here. It ran up really hard, and the market makers basically were like, "Yeah, we're gonna liquidate the crap out of everyone trying to FOMO trade right now," and that's exactly what happened. And now they're running it right, and they're bouncing it right off of that support through line. You see it, 1, 2, 3. And now this could be the bounce that actually takes it to, like, you know, the fib level, which I was looking at here for Pepe. But Doge is looking good. Doge is looking good. We're in the Orca trade as well. That's the trades that we're looking at right now. We took some profits. We rolled them into Bitcoin and also into AVAX. We bought some AVAX, so we took some of the profits, bought some coins, sent it into our wallets, and that is the strategy. And then usually we'll leave a little bit of liquidity in to try and go back in and trade. And if we're smart, we'll have stop losses set. This one in particular, it kind of got away from us. But it's okay. We'll make it back. We'll make it back with these trades, because these trades are so bullish, and the market's going to, I mean, that was like just a liquidity flush, just a quick high leverage liquidity flush. And we're going to be hitting up into these next levels, especially with Doge. Doge, you got to think the support here was 21 cents between 22 and 25 cents. Once we break the 382, the next level for Doge for resistance is the 618, which is 35 cents. We're eyeing this level. We're really just about to just trade right up to it really fast. And then I mentioned about Orca being bullish because of the nature of the liquidity and the network effect that's going to happen on Solana. Last time that happened, we broke almost $10 on Orca because it just started a freaking pump. And we got a lot of features on Orca right now that are going to, I think, push the the revenue generating on Orca to the next level. And so we're going to be pushing up. So yeah, I intend to make some really good profits on these trades. All right, guys. I think that's it. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and end it. We really appreciate you guys coming in, and just make sure you guys are tuning into these live streams, hitting the like button, all that stuff. Comment, subscribe, share it. Wonder how many people actually showed up on Facebook, if any. Because we were streaming to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, X. Scuba Gerbil says, big flag forming on Link. Whales bought 8.1 million Link in the last week. Link provides necessary infrastructure and is tried and true. Yes. Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, Link is just basically, dang. Wow. Yeah, Link on the weekly looks bullish as all get out. Like, it's eyeing this that resistance from previous bull market. If we break that, like, that's looking real tasty for Link. That means like Link is like, like base case is like $100, from where we're sitting at right now. And that's pretty stable. I mean, that's like, we get to $100. That's a 331% move to the upside on Chain Link, baby. And the Link Marines, they're strong. The Link Marines, they've been holding Link forever. There's been people that have held Link since the old bull market. And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Wile E. Coyote, you did say you wanted to chart BNKR. Let's see this. BNKR on Coinbase. Let's do that. Okay. Banker coin. What is Banker coin? Is ETH breaking out right now? Oh yeah. Yes. Let's go. I want to see that. Where's my order block where I said, look, if we break that order block, then it's game on. Here it is. You might even see it live. Wait, okay, we might even see it live. Hold the phone. Because it's so cool to watch order blocks get broken live, where you literally see it break through, and once it passes, it disappears, and then it's off. It's off to the races, my friends. It's off to the races. We could literally see this break right now. We could see this order block break right now, and I'm telling you, the next fib level that we hit is 1.618. It's $5,778. We're gonna rip to that. We will rip to that level very fast. Very fast. Woo! Oh my gosh, guys. Man, that makes me a little frustrated with my Pepe trade. Like, gosh, that was like the spot. But it was so hard to do. I was like trying to catch a freaking falling knife here. But you can see, even so, If ETH breaks, then basically Pepe will shoot and start to fly off of this, and probably end up pulling like a 10-15% move to the upside. But we're just happy we're in trades, like we're in some good altcoin trades. We still have, we're doing the best we can. But yeah. The banker bot, I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know what banker bot is. Or was it banker coin? What did I say? Well, there's a reason. I think because it's ETH season. People are wanting to buy. They're like they don't want to miss the ETH run. And I think what's happening is that we're going to see ETH kind of steal the show a little bit. It's not going to immediately pump things like Pepe, Floki, or anything, you know, ticker Bitcoin, but they will go up. But I think we're going to see the real rotation when ETH cools down. So it's always like we want it all to pump at the same time, but that's not what really I think is going to happen. I think we're going to just see a bit of a lag. Well, I think more light. The reason is because they're impatient. They don't want to hold. They don't want to believe in something. They want get rich quick stuff, and that's just the nature of it. Okay, so Banker Wallet connects you to your Twitter, and you can send coins from that wallet. Okay. All right, here's the chart. Yeah, Zebracorn says full port ticker Bitcoin is the only sure play in this market. Yeah, I mean that's my biggest meme balance. Like that's my biggest holding actually out of everything. I kind of just went full degen ticker Bitcoin because I was like, look, you know, in terms of the risk, everything has risk, but if I'm going to really play a risk play, why not it be the one that makes me laugh the most and is the one is the most ironic, and that I can say, look, I was able to make and basically retire my family off of investing in something called Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. I mean, it would just be hilarious. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking $1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, no, just kidding. I can do that whole skit way too many, like probably dead on. Imagine telling your coworkers you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu coin mooned. But no, it's so okay. So Scuba Banker is a AI agent that attempts to make it a simple. I'm so tired of these AI agents. You guys are lazy. Just do the stuff yourself. You want to make AI agents do everything for you. You need to go in and use the damn wallet. Get a MetaMask. Start swapping in the MetaMask. And maybe, just maybe, MetaMask will airdrop you thousands of dollars for being as stubborn as I am. Screw a bot. Just buy the coin and hold it. And then, you know, did SHIB whales and Doge whales use a bot? No, they just bought the damn coin and they held it for long enough to sell it at a massive profit. And everyone's getting convinced, use this AI agent bot. Dude, just get a freaking custodial wallet and hold the coin and sell it when you're up. Why is everyone making it so complicated? I'm sorry. I'm very old school. I don't like I don't want the damn AI. I don't trust it. You guys trust AI too much. You know, AI is dumber than you think. You gotta remember that you are actually smarter than AI. You know, you're training it. It's not training you. You're training the AI. And you forget that you have instincts and intuition. And maybe if you just like tapped into the Akashic record, my friends, there's your freaking answer. The egregore knows what I'm talking about. Tap into the Akashic record. ChatGPT sucks. If you try to ask it certain questions, it gets stumped, and it's basically trained to be liberal. I'm trying to get jacked like Jason Casper. I don't know. I'm getting close. I gotta eat more steak and lift heavier, and then we'll see. But yeah, actually, we got some old favorites here. We got Rose. Shout out to Rose Coin. Shout out to Rose, the Oasis. Oh my gosh. It's funny because I've been running my mouth so long that my wife probably at a point she just handed me a plate of food. She's the boss. She's actually she's the real boss. She's the one that runs the operation in the ship. She just handed me a plate of food, and I think she probably was like, "You just need to can you please just like stop talking about crypto right now?" But at the same time, she wants me to continue to talk about crypto because she knows it's going to retire her. So I don't know. This is where we're at. She knows full well that ticker Bitcoin is going to fully retire us. Mm-hmm. Man, I love a good potato wedge like I like a descending wedge breakout. I tell you what. I like a good potato wedge like I like a descending wedge, baby. No, she is a good wife. My wife she's like kind of like she is second to none. She's actually the OG original gangster badass. The fact that she stayed with me for this long just like proves that she has the patience of like the Dalai Lama. The fact that she's still here. Holy crap. I mean, have you listened to me? That's like Jason Casper. I bet Jay feels the same way. His wife comes in the door. Jay, are you almost done streaming? And he's like, it's gonna dump, then we gonna pop, it's gonna die. And he's got literally like Google eyes and a plunger. And he's like, we're gonna, yeah, we gonna dump. With the plunger. And his wife is like, I just need to remember that he has 17 million Bitcoin. I gotta remember that he has 17 million Bitcoin. I gotta remember. I have to remember that he bought Bitcoin at $1,000. I gotta remember. He's jacked. He knows how to grow food. Scuba Dribble says, I like a big potato wedge like I like a rock to the back of the head. I like a good big old potato wedge like a... I like a good potato wedge like I like a... I almost just said something so inappropriate. I almost said... Hold on. Like I like a BBL. I like a big potato wedge like I like a BBL. Guess what a BBL is? All right, is ETH breaking out? Are we getting ETH all-time highs? Are we about to get ETH all-time highs? I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss breaking ETH all-time high because like we might actually do it live on stream, and that would just be a shame for me to literally end the stream and then ETH breaks all-time high. That's it, yeah. Like I like me a big bad lady boy. That's too funny. my gosh, guys, look at this order block. That is resistance. But look at the MACD. This is what's okay. So if we go to the weekly, here's the ticket, guys. Here's the ticket. You only need like two indicators in a weekly chart, weekly time frame. Go to the weekly time frame, and then you look at where the MACD. No, I ran. I worked out a little bit. I drank some coffee. I had some eggs. My wife even said, "Why do you look so like you look way too like fired up?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "I'm ready to go. I'm ready to hit these damn charts. I'm ready to freaking go. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs." I feel like we're just like it's like being at the beginning of the biggest freaking like revolution and liquidity dump into this market that we've ever seen. And I'm here for it. And I love that I was so bullish ETH this entire time while all those jabronis and jokers on the timeline that have more followers than me think they're smarter than me were like, swap all your ETH and sell it. And if you followed them, I'm sorry. Because this whole time you could have been watching me and just be like delusional bullish ETH. And you wouldn't be so surprised at what's happening right now. And you wouldn't be wanting to go and find those people at a restaurant and flip the table while they're eating their breakfast. Like Lark Davis or who else ran. Go to their breakfast table right now, wherever they're eating, and go, don't even say a word. Don't even say a word. Just flip the table. Flip it. Because they don't deserve as many followers they have, because they literally don't know what they're talking about. They're like, what's the use case for ETH? I don't know. Institutional adoption, stablecoin minting, and you're complaining that it's slow and the gas fees are too high. Then you are not looking in the right places, my friends. So here's the thing. Here's the all-time high 2021. Do you see where the MACD is? And you see where we're currently sitting at right now? It's not even close to being exhausted and topped up. Do you see where the RSI is? We're not close for it to be topped up and exhausted yet. So we're gonna be blasting here pretty soon. Just watch it. $5,778. Watch it. I called it on this stream. And this is where I think we're going to be heading. All right, my friends, I think we've had enough fun for today. Thank you for tuning in to today's live stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you to More Light, the leader of the Ticker Bitcoin egregore community. Thank you to all of the Sprotos that tuned into today's live stream on X. Thank you to all the people that are watching on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys staying and sticking through this crazy long ADD stream. We really appreciate it. Sometimes we get off track, but we really try and narrow it down for you guys. We talked about ETH BTC all-time highs. We talked about the Bitcoin altcoin analysis. We broke down the news for you. We showed you some clips from mainstream media and how they don't even know what the heck they're talking about. We showed you that a portfolio breakdown. And we took some questions. We took some coins. We pulled up some coins to TA. And we're just having some fun. But yeah, I think we'll be back later. We want to keep streaming. I think we want to keep streaming today. We're feeling it. We're feeling the energy. So we want to come back. We're going to stream at, I think, probably like 7:30, something like that. We're going to stream later. So make sure you guys tune into this live stream. whenever you see it. Like get notified, whatever it is. Yeah, ADHD Club. Oh, I like that. Yeah, the ADHD. 80 High Definition Club. The 80 High Def. That'd be a funny coin to launch. We should launch that coin, Scuba Gerbil. We were supposed to launch Scuba Gerbil. The Cuba Gooding Gerbil. All right, thank you guys. Just go to the channel. Make sure you check out all the links in the description. A funny coin to launch. Hit that like button on the way out. You can see we support OURBIT, we support PHEMEX, and if you want a decentralized options that's connected with Bybit, which Bybit is second highest liquid exchange in the world. They have Apex, which is kind of their like decentralized baby that they're trying to offer for people. So cool option if you want to check it out. And then if you want to do some debit cards, crypto.com is adding a lot of stuff. And if you sign up with my link, you get a nice little juicy little bonus. And we got the old school Coinbase link in there. If you haven't had a Coinbase yet, you get $10 in Bitcoin if you trade Bitcoin with my link. And that's all we have for today, my friends. And and if you want to join the Discord, you can pop into the Discord here. Let me send you the link. Invite people, and we will copy this. This link right here will expire in 7 days, so you have to use it within 7 days. But if you'd like to come in here, you can hang out and chat. You can post your best memes, funny memes, best trade screenshots. That's what we want to also see. We want to see you guys winning. I also want to see your losses. I want to see where you just like made a really bad move. Explain what happened. Maybe we can learn together. You can know the gas prices. You can see the gas prices for ETH and BTC. You can even come in here and shill some stuff if you think you got a coin that we should be paying attention to. You also see some crypto news and stuff like that. But yeah, check it out. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next stream. We'll see you at 7. Peace out.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit HPOM.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you a really quick metric that I found fascinating. So 41% of the people that have been watching this channel and actually liking the channel and the content have not subscribed. 41% of you, but I will say 58% of you subscribed. Amazing. You guys are doing awesome. But I want to say that the people that are not subscribed yet, please, won't you consider subscribing to the channel and joining the Dojo crew where we are educating ourselves. We're in the markets every single day. We're live streaming Monday through Friday, and we're also posting content on a daily basis that is keeping up with these cryptocurrency markets. And this is where the money is flowing right now, guys. So if you want to get these updates and you want to be ahead of the game, I suggest you start subscribing and dinging the bell to be notified whenever I go live and post content, because you do not want to miss it.